Hey guys, Adam Savage here at my cave with another Samaritan build. This one is a go with while I'm working on other parts of the Samaritan. As this thing has been floating around my shop and I keep on sort of playing with it and manipulating it, I realized it needs a home. It needs to be able to live somewhere. And obviously I love making the vessels for my objects almost as much as I love making the objects. And so today it's time to make a case for the Samaritan. I almost want to start calling it the Sammy. We'll see. I need to make a case for this. Now, a few years ago, I found a military case, which is pretty darn close. It's about the right size. It's already got the handles that I need on the side. Front latch and the rear hinge are not correct, but I have all the parts and pieces I need to make them correct. And yeah, that's today's one-day build. We're going to turn this piece of steel into a suitable home for this guy. And he's just going to be in the background of every shot, just, for the pleasure principle. All right, let's get into it. So first and foremost, I need to grind off. Yeah, you can see I already cut some foam out to fit the Samaritan. It's not quite right. All right, so yeah, I need to grind off this latch. I need to grind off this latch. And I need to grind off these hinges. And I actually need to take off this whole rear flap because in the real one, you can clearly see in the first close-up of it in the van that it's a painted brass hinge. So that's what I'm going to do is put on this painted brass hinge on the inside of it. Yeah, here we go. Nice. Okay. There we go. Nice. All right, I gotta grind these puppies off. That's gonna get me. Okay, so I have removed this back lip, onto which I'm going to install some coffin hinge. But one of the key things I notice about the Samaritan case in the film is that these edges look rounded. So I'm going to spend some time taking a ball peen to these and kind of giving it a thwack. I think it's time to put on a little hearing protection. So here is the original corner, and here is the rounded corner, and yeah, I'm making a real difference. That's great. That's exactly what I want. You're a little thin out there, but I can still make you work. The hasp here, the locking mechanism for the movie Samaritan case is the locking mechanism for an ammo box. And I happened to have an ammo box around here. So Jen Schachter sliced it off the frame for me. I just have to figure out how it connects to this, and I think I've got it. I think I do that. And I may have to just grind out and weld in there a little bit. I think that's what I do have to do. And then that's the center. And then a quarter 20 bolt comes out here. And they had some kind of just like bolt tightener. I don't have good photo reference, but it looks like that. And then once I get that mounted on, which I'm going to do with pop rivets. Yeah. Then I do the hinge. Actually, I should probably do the hinge first, don't you think? I mean, actually, I can feel that it's like dead on the money here. So, yeah, I'm going to do the hinge first. If I don't, then I end up. Yeah, the hinge is like, imagine I get this right and then I do the hinge and I change the whole relationship. That's not smart. That's not good. And the reason I know to ask that question is because I've made that mistake in the past. I grew up calling these coffin hinges, but they're most commonly referred to as piano hinges. And I'm going to put it on the inside here and the inside of the lid. And it looks like we'll be at just about that. Yeah, that's great. Get shoppy. Yeah, these piano hinges cut nicely with hacksaw or portable bandsaw. Yeah, come on. That's it. That's what I want. There we go. Beauty. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Okay, so now I want the top of the hinge dead level with the top. There we go. 2, 3. And my air-powered rivet gun. We can get one in, or actually we can get one in on each side, and then we can line up all the others and just knock them down. Get to the spot. Okay, so it's time to assemble the top with the back. And it's all feeling like it's pretty good. I'm gonna have to get in there with a little bit of weldment. Yeah, but I can still put this in. For pup rivets, I always do a full kind of rotational. This is like rotational reaming is what it is. I am probably turning this from a 0.125 inch diameter hole to a 135. I'm probably opening it up by like 5 or 10 thou. I don't know, maybe that's generous, but I think it's pretty close. And that just makes it easier for the pop rivet to go in. It doesn't really affect the mechanical properties of the pop rivet at all. That's what makes it so cool. All right. I suspect that the real one had less rivets, but I'm going to use the rivets I have. You know, it also looks to me like the original Samaritan case was built out of aluminum, and it looks like it might have even been scratch built. It's hard to say, but if it wasn't scratch built, I feel like this case is a very strong contender for what it was actually made from. But say, okay, so now we have the correct hinge. Oh, I missed one of the rivets. We have the correct hinge, and now it's time to put on the front hasp hardware from that we scavenged off of my ammo box. Yeah, so I think that actually what I'm seeing here is that this won't seat perfectly, but the original didn't either, which is why there's that 1/4-20 closure here. I think they ran into the same issue I'm going to run into here, which is that it's not an ideal sort of layout. But I'm going to give it a shot. So let's see, that is definitely centered. Oh. This guy. And this guy does not have this in the film, so I got to cut that off. Yeah. So I think that's exactly how they did it. They used a 1/4-20 bolt here to help hold this in, and I will do the same thing. But functionally identical now to the original Samaritan case. Well, so the form factor of my Samaritan case is now what I wanted it to be. I've got a continuous piano hinge on the back here. I've ground away evidence of the old hinges. Same with the front hasp. I've installed the hasp from my from the ammo box for the front. So the next thing for me to do, frankly, is to primer the inside and the outside of this puppy. I'm not going to have to go too far on the inside. I'm also going to grind. I've got a bunch of rust on the bottom here. I'm just going to do a kind of cursory grind on here and then clean it out. And then I'm going to try a new primer filler here, Bondo gray primer filler. I'm going to try this stuff, and I hope it's great. I miss the days of lacquer primers, man. Those noxious chemicals, they get the job done. they're noxious, which is why I can't get them anymore. And that's also cool, but I miss them. I have to say, I really like this gray filler primer from Bondo. I like how it goes on. It's like, if you use Photoshop filters, you know how much more feeling of control you get by turning the filter to 50% rather than 100%. That's what this feels like. This nozzle puts out a really nice flat spray, and it puts it out at about half the output that a normal spray can does. And it feels like I've got a lot of control in it. It's a really nice coat. It's good color cover. This I'm not worrying about because I'm filling that. And also the inside gets kind of black. Yeah, this is great. So I have this color from MTN, Montana Colors, this green, which I bought a while back thinking it was the perfect color for this. Guess we're going to find out. I also have a fan pointed on me so that it goes to my exhaust of the shop. Here we go. Oh, hi. So while the paint on my Samaritan case is drying, and I'm pretty pleased with it, I ended up going with some of this 94 green, which is a little bit bright. So I had one shaker can of Tamiya olive drab, and I went over it with that. I may have to repaint the outside of this, but that's fine. Just repeated paint jobs is only going to make this thing look better, and I'm going to beat the crap out of it and get it really, it's going to get a lot of weathering. So I think I have a lot of latitude when it comes to, this paint job isn't perfectly even. I'm not sure anyone's going to really notice. While I'm waiting for that to dry, it's time to worry about the lettering on the top of the box. And I'm going to walk you through kind of how I do such a thing. So the first thing I do with a project like this is I go in and I see if I can't find the lettering I'm looking for in the film. And I do. Here in Hellboy, you can see quite clearly he's cracking the Samaritan box, and there's the text. I haven't figured out what font this is. I really would like to know, but the research I did, I couldn't figure it out. So what I'm going to have to do here is, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I'm going to try. So first I go into image adjustments, and I would, this is just for getting the text. I would brighten it up. There we go. Now I can see it a little better. Okay. And then I'm looking at the box and I'm trying to figure out a size. So usually when I want to do that, I'll bring over the box and I'll measure it and figure out what size I want. So I'm looking at this. I'm thinking it's centered on the, right, it's not huge. It's like 11 inches wide, which is really great because I can make that as a stencil. Yeah, I'm going to say 11 inches. Okay. So that means I'm going to change my image size to 11 inches wide and still at 300 DPI. Okay, so there we go in. Now, what I want to do is I know that the lettering will go all the way to the extents, the outside edges of this, which means I'll have to print it as 2 prints. Hi. But it gives me a reference mark. So then I bring down a guide, and this is when I take the lasso tool and grab the text as much as I can. I don't have to be super exacting about it. Do a transform on there. And now it's a set of, oh, wow, I don't want that. I want a hard edge transform. Deselect, marquee tool. Let's see if this helps us. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now I'm taking Samaritan, and I'm going to try and put it on this line. And I am going to, it's about messing around until you get something that kind of works. Oh, that's going to be weird. Okay, let's get a second guideline. So I just have a top and a bottom. And then see if we can't manipulate this to be more about what we want. I may have to take individual letters here and muck with them a bit, but that's fine. I've done that too. And then every now and then, I'll just change my transform. I'll save it and move on from it. There's a lot of, this is a tough one, because there's so much of a parallax angle on here. I really wish I didn't have, I wish I could find the font. That's what I wish. Okay, now we're getting to something a little more regular. I'm gonna hand cut this out. So I have lots of room to kind of adjust it as I go. But let's just see. That letter's an inch wide. And that letter's an inch wide. Yeah, you see how that's just not working. But I have 11 inches. Yeah, and the eye is narrower. Let's see here. Okay, let's try and take the S and the N actually are going to have a similar amount of visual weight. So let's just see if I can't. Actually, I'm going to brighten this even more. Adjustment, brighten. And I'm going to do a higher contrast there, so I'm darken it. Okay. So now I'm going to go in and try marquee. This is definitely the kind of thing I do on an airplane for like hours and hours and hours. Definitely terrific airplane fodder. So there's 3 A's, and I can kind of choose which one I want. And in fact, actually, this is the one that I want because it's the cleanest. And if I get rid of this, what I've got is that. And I want to kind of, okay, so I have my printout. Again, this isn't amazing, but I'm still feeling pretty good about it. I'm going to try cutting it out carefully with an X-Acto blade, and hopefully I'll get what looks like a good stencil. Okay. I have cut out the stencil. Now, oh, yeah, look, that looks great to me because I'm looking at it in the mirror. Um, Here are some of the reasons that I could work with such a crunchy graphic. I have past in graphic design. I worked as a graphic designer in New York City before computers, which is, by the way, like maybe the best way to learn graphic design. I mean, no, it's not. Sorry, I hate it when people do that, that they could assume their own experience is the best possible experience. It's not the case. However, the grounding I had in graphic design and specifically being an early font nerd helps me know where to make the calls about the curves and the movement of letters as you're cutting them out. I have a lot of experience with that. I love letters. I love letter forms. I love the commonality. I love the ways in which a font is a stylistic choice made across 26 different characters and how you maintain consistency between those. Seriously, it is like there's a whole world in there. You know about it. You could do worse than to learn about it because it's really, really useful stuff, especially trying to cut out something like that. Plus, this is a very boxy type. It's almost like a fixed width font, it looks like. And I'm just maintaining high rigidity of my right angles. And that helps hide a lot of the crimes that I might have missed in terms of the letter forms. But I think it's damn good. I have 4 little nurnies to place between the three A's and the R, and I will. So now it's time to tape this down and mask it. I'm going to give it a little bit of a back spray of some Super 77, just so I have some adhesion and I don't actually blow up underneath this. So the question is, where does it sit? Though it is super thick. So, this is all just about finessing it in. I like that. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So now I'm feeling pretty good about its position. And I am going to codify that position in the corners. Because I still have to spray this with 77. I have to be very careful with this stuff. So I'm going to spray this with 77. But what I'm doing is I'm putting some masking tape under each of the corners, and then I'm going to make a little pencil witness mark in those corners. And again, you know, if I'm off by a 16th or 32nd, even an 8th, no one's going to ever really notice, especially me. So, get this a little spray glue. It's true. I didn't wear a mask to do that tiny little spray. That is the kind of call that I'm going to make. And I am wearing more masks, more safety equipment, because I hear you. You're right. I should be setting the right example, and I appreciate that. And in this one case, my impatience is the example that I'm setting. That's all I did. I know. There's no such thing as an acceptable amount. I get you. Okay, so... you definitely, like, this paint job is fresh. I don't want to screw it up. I actually think it's going to come out pretty great. I love that the case says "the." That is awesome. I mean, it's not Samaritan. It's literally like in Guillermo's Hellboy, the BPRD has self-awareness about the fact that it's wonderful and crazy that Hellboy's sidearm has a name. They're like cognizant of their brand, right? That's pretty funny. Okay, so now I've got these 4 little nurnies, and I am not going to, what I'm going to do with them, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut them out of tape. I have to say, after my lifetime of making stencils, it's almost always just as fast to cut them out as it is to export it to the DXF and like make an actual file out of it. Just my personal opinion. The thing about being a font nerd is that it's really fun to draw fonts. It's really fun to understand just how radically weird and difficult the art form of designing a font really is. It is diabolical. And it makes it even more amazing when you look at beautiful fonts like Caslon or Futura. Yeah, all right. Okay, so I just want to make sure that's pretty good. That one's crooked. There we go. Okay. So we are ready for spraying. We're not going to go with a heavy spray. We're going to go with a light one. And we're going to use just black. I'm all out of black primer, so I'm going to use this textured paint, but it's not too much texture. Yep. Right. And now we get to Christmas. Every time you peel off masking, it's Christmas. You get to see, well, it's Christmas with steaks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is one where the stencil's not going to make it out alive. That's okay. Nice. Again, also, this is so far from needing to be a pristine surface. I'm not really worrying about not getting stuff peeling up. Oh, actually, I think the stencil might survive the night. Oh, Deuteronomy. Okay. I think I have every reason to be proud of that. I'm really pleased with how that came out. Okay, so now I'm going to put some stuff away and get ready to weather this. Yeah, there's a piece of metal here. Dude, that is looking fine and dandy. Yeah, that's it. Oh, whoops. Really want to be playing some celebratory music right about now. Let's take a look at this front. That looks great. I'm really pleased with how that came out. Sides here, this front, they're all nice and beat up. I've got to add in, yeah. The big issue here is you don't want it to look too uniform. You really want to like take your paint thing and just go, hey, maybe I need a spot like there. And then leave it for a minute. Hit it with the blow dryer. That looks terrible, but if I hit it with the blow dryer and then start to try and pull it away, and then really start to try and pull it away, and then leave it, and now all of a sudden I've got this extra cool spot, right? You're like embracing uncertainty. All right, time for one more coat of paint. One more coat. The coat of paint I want to put on now is a matte finish so that it's actually just a little bit protected, to be honest. Okay, I'm really pleased with how this is going, and I am almost finished. Yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I have some foam for this. Put it in there. So. Oh! I almost forgot. The 1/4-20 bolt in the front. Got to get that in. There we go. Yeah. There we go. I believe that's how the original actually held, and yeah. Whew. That was a fun one-day build. I'm going to clean up and go have some dinner. Thank you guys for joining me. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching that video. If you'd like to further support us on Tested, there are many ways you can do so. One is through paid membership, and there are several tiers of that, each with their own set of unique bonuses. You can follow the links below for that, or you can go to our merch store where we are always coming up with brand new products. In honor of the holidays, we've got our Tested Ugly sweater in both black and we have a white one. We have some brand new patches, and this is a particular type that I made a joke about one day, and now it's a reality. You know, merit badges. When you're a Cub Scout or a Boy Scout, you get a merit badge for achieving something. Well, Tested now has demerit badges for when you screw something up, because that's just as important in learning as getting something right. So this is the badge for when you measure something once and have to cut it twice. This is the badge for when you accidentally hook up your electronics wrong and you release the mysterious blue smoke that powers them and they no longer work. And this one here is for when you get your finger caught in the lathe and it almost gets torn off.
That might be quite me specific. I hope that never happens to you. These are all designed by Tested's own Jen Schachter, and they are not the only patches we're going to release. In fact, these are just the beginning. If you have ideas for demerit badges that we should release, we'd love to hear them. We also still have our regular complement of posters, and they're all back in stock, including my hand-drawn toolboxes. I love seeing pictures you guys send us of these hanging in your maker spaces and your offices, your man caves, and your sheds around the world. Get to the store, follow the links below, and hey, some of these might make great Christmas presents for the makers in your life. Thanks, you guys. Happy holidays.